Toll Road here, and I'm at the National Railroad Museum in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That means one thing: railroads, transportation. Be careful. Kids out there, buckle up. You're about to take a ride on the toll road. One of the first displays you'll see in the building celebrates the Milwaukee beer line, which was from grain to glass. They have advertising and promotional items from some of Milwaukee's famous breweries, including Blatz, Slits, and who can forget PB Army ASAP, Pabst Blue Ribbon. The next display you'll see is the Bauer Drumhead Gallery. The museum contains the largest drumhead collection you'll find anywhere in the United States, with 35 different drumheads. Now, drumheads were the means that trains used to advertise their most luxurious lines. In case you're unfamiliar with a drumhead, it's a usually circular illuminated sign that's placed at the back of a train. It's used kind of an advertisement, and they generally put it on their top train of their fleet. Here's one of the Pullman cars. Looks like we can go inside of this. And what are the Pullman cars known for? The Pullman Porters. Look at that beauty. Alright, let's see what this Pullman car is always bragged up to be. Pullman Porters were a big part of the civil rights movement, as they were the first minority labor union in the United States. Here's where the Porters would be most of the trip. A couple sinks. And hey, everybody's got to go. Ah, the Pullman car. Still looks pretty comfortable. Watch other trains go by you. Don't climb on this stuff while you're here. Okay, here's the sleeper in action. I've slept in worse. And the Porters, they had 12 pages in their operating manual on how to make a bed. Wow. I haven't even read the introduction on how to make a bed. Yeah, I still want to lay down on that. Yeah, a private room. The museum includes over 60 pieces of rolling stock, including the Union Pacific 4017 Big Boy, the Pershing, and the Dwight D Eisenhower. Plus, there is over 150,000 other small artifacts. The Dwight Eisenhower, built by the London and Northeastern Railway, and was originally called the Golden Shuttle, but was renamed after Eisenhower after World War II. Only 6 A4 class locomotives left in the world, and one, the Mallard, set the speed record for steam-powered locomotives in 1938 by going 126 miles per hour. Now, this is cool. You can get right in here and be the train engineer. I wonder if I pulled any of this, if this will start running. All aboard. Alright, here I am running the train. It's kind of special permission, and you pay a couple dollars extra. They'll let you run the train. It's worth it. but I have to go. And one thing I did notice in there, not much headroom. I'm just about skimming the ceiling here. See that? I move, gotta duck down a little bit to even get through here. This is a Pennsylvania Railroad number 4890, a GG1 electric locomotive built in 1940. What you're looking at is 9,300 horsepower and a top speed of 100 miles per hour. Here's a look at Big Boy himself, Union Pacific 4017. They don't make them much bigger than this, folks. Even the small wheels are big wheels. Look how far this goes back. It keeps going and going. I had to walk all this distance just to get to the room there. That is an amazing train. It takes all that to feed it just to go. All right, gonna go to the cab of the Big Boy 4017 Union Pacific. Apparently it gets pretty warm in here. That's how they fed the beast. Oh, do not open cab windows. Man, it really got hot. So you'd have to sit right here and look at that long view you'd have just to get to the nose of your train. Gears all over the place. Wow, look at all these nozzles. There's the beast too. Look at all these nozzles. One wrong turn. Here I am running Big Boy. I'm a big boy. Oh, that's kind of spacey. These are the graduate trains, which there were 49 of these. They were obsolete military boxcar, and they just filled them up full of gifts and sent them back to the U.S. Gifts from the French citizens after World War II as gratitude. So 49, there's 48 for each state. Now remember, back then Alaska and Hawaii weren't states. And the 49th car was for Washington, D.C. and Hawaii. So somehow in the deal, Alaska got kind of ignored. I think we need to get a gratitude train for Alaska. This caboose kind of cracks me up. It looks like you got a regular back door you'd have on your house. Old school stove. Kitchen sink. A little shelving for your dishes and whatnot. Don't know if I was supposed to open that. Didn't break it. It's on film, I didn't break it. Little table to sit down, play some cards or eat. Bunk and above. Hopefully the guys below you playing cards weren't keeping you up. Looks like the commode. Finest in stainless steel. Whatever that is. Roll top desk to do your homework in or your office work. Fan to keep you cool. And all these gizmos. Big snow, no problems. This plow will do your driveway pretty quick. So So this is Joseph Lister's. They used it as a hospital car. Lister, you might know him from his Listerine. Sounds familiar. If it doesn't, probably should. Your breath stinks. And the Joseph Lister one is another Pullman, so you can tell the bed, whoever made that bed followed the 12-page manual. I'm gonna say Thurgood Marshall. Yeah, I knew it. How many of you seen the 1976 movie with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, The Silver Streak? Still several more impressive trains held outside under protective cover. The museum is open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5 p.m. Sundays, 11 to 5. It's $12 for adults, $10 for seniors, $8 for children, and children younger than 2. Well, those lucky sons of guns get in free. Yeah, there's a job I want, shoveling coal. Not. Air pumps, water glass, that doesn't sound like something you want to drink. Radio, dynamos. I don't know what any of that means. Kind of cool, they got a boardwalk here. You can walk by a bunch of trains they get underneath the tarp here, although birds are still in here. Beware. They say bird pooping on you is supposed to be lucky. I'll stick with the luck I have. We'll do a walk through here. What is this? The Milwaukee Road. Kind of a different front to this one. See if we can peek in. No, we can't. Get a look at the engine though. For those of you that know that kind of stuff, you can tell me what I'm looking at. Maybe Brian from someplace or another. He's my train expert. Caboose there. We all know Road Trip Rich used to live in a caboose. He could tell me what kind of caboose that is, or its comfort level compared to the ones he's lived in. Looks like we got some box cars here, pails, tubs, kegs. Okay. So, maybe Boxcar Willie's in here. You in there, Willie? Okay. Texas P and Ohio Railroad. And this is a long stretch here. This is a steam locomotive. Age of steam, look at that. We'll walk you through this whole thing. I'll walk a little faster and try not to bounce though. Let's look at another one. They're similar, but you still gotta go in every one of them. You notice that? Similar, but different. And look, this one's windows open. Alright, so here's what he'd have to do. Now I'm about eye level here. I'd have to peek up through that hole or stick my head out this window to see what's coming ahead. But if you're the train, I think you're not the one that needs to worry about a collision, unless it's another train, you're probably gonna win. Okay, the train you're seeing here is the oldest train in the museum, manufactured in 1910. And just look at the size of this big beaut. Holy moly. What kind of cow catcher does this have in front of it? None. Cows know to get out of the way of this guy. I mean, these other ones, they got a little bit of a catcher. Actually, stand corrected. Looks like he caught a cow. Thing you don't often see on a train is a train on a train. Call that a double-decker, I guess. Here is a double-decker train. Wow, this one is up there. Kind of dark in here. Oh wow, okay, look at the double-decker for the, go this way for the sights. It's pretty cool. The way this is lit and the way that step was coming up here, I'm not even sure I'm supposed to be here, so I'm gonna make that brief. Kind of like the design of this Rock Island Express here. I don't know if it's Express or not, but it makes it sound cooler when you call something an Express, doesn't it? Old number 2. Now, normally you would not want to be standing here if this train was coming at you, unless you have the cat-like reflexes of yours truly. And it's kind of cool. I actually get a ride on this train right here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to brace yourselves. We are going to be going a blistering 7 miles an hour on our trip around the property. We take 2 laps, so we should be on the ride for about half hour. Once again, my name is Liz. I am the events coordinator here at the museum. So that is local business people formed a committee to obtain a steam locomotive for display in what was then called Cook Memorial Park. Through their efforts, they received the Milwaukee Road number 261 and also gained the support of Congressional Representative John Burns, who introduced legislation to Congress requesting the designation of the National Railroad Museum for that committee. This legislation gave the committee and the museum national standing. However, funding remained and remains private for the nonprofit organization. It consists primarily of admissions and donations. Speaking again of admissions, donations, and events, a couple things we've got coming up include Center, which is next to it with the big old National Railroad Museum on it, is the other one, which was opened in July 2001. The 2 buildings hold some of the most notable pieces of rolling stock owned by the museum. In McCormick, we have the Aero Train and Union Pacific Dome Diner. The CB&Q Railway Post Office car was previously housed in McCormick, but is currently in our restoration shop. The CB&Q Silver Spirit Streamliner and Atlantic Coastline Dome and Dining Car are in front of our Lenfesty Center and are both available for private event rentals. The exhibits revolving around the Eisenhower, Big Boy, and Lake Mitchell are in the Lenfesty Center, as well as our newest exhibit, the Joseph Lister Hospital car, which was just put in place a few weeks ago. The smaller gray shed that we're going past right now is our restoration shop for the Great Pumpkin Train and the World War II reenactment. A portion of this space is also leased to another organization for the annual Tear on the Fox haunted house. There could be some goslings on the track. The buildings that house Tear on the Fox were built especially for the event, and in 2022, Tear on the Fox will be celebrating its 26th season. Tear on the Fox is lauded as one of the first attractions to bring styrofoam scenic design to the forefront of the haunted house industry. And you see that mausoleum? Most of it is built out of styrofoam. Approximately 30% of the interior of the event changes hobos and all of that cool stuff. And you see our red boxcar right here. We're going to go through some of the stuff that hobos used to write to each other to, messages, things like that. The Civil War through the Great Depression in the 1930s saw a large number of hobos, tramps, and bums riding trains to get from place to place. Hobos were generally thought of as people with little money who would illegally ride a freight or passenger train. They rode rails from town to town in search of work. Tramps were also found riding the railroad, but were considered different because they were not looking for work. There were also the bums, which were known for neither traveling or looking for work, and in some cases were considered dangerous. If you look at the red box car, there's some stuff painted on the side of it, and realistically, these kind of hieroglyphics were how hobos would talk to each other. If you see the upside-down Y, it meant that hobos weren't welcome in a particular town. Hobos who did enter the town could be jailed or beaten for vagrancy. The checkerboard symbol indicated that if the local constable found a hobo in town without visible means of support, the hobo would be charged with vagrancy and jailed. There's a cat on the other end of the boxcar that we'll be able to see as we make our return trip on the first loop. And that means that a nice lady lives here, and it could be a good place for a handout. The square with a dot in the center indicated danger. It could be paired with other symbols like the squiggly line to indicate that something was dangerous. The other things could be pictures and names. There's a couple on the other end. The clown symbol would be Bozo the Clown and Boxcar Betty. Those were names of two actual hobos that traveled during the 1930s. And as we go around the corner, you'll see that there's a directional arrow. As we go around, you'll see our Aero Train is currently outside. In the early 1950s, several railroads approached General Motors about developing a lightweight, high-speed passenger train, which was awesome, and the Aero Train was introduced in 1955. It was super awesome until they realized that the speeds that the Aero Train ran at weren't conducive to a comfortable ride. GM built two.
I think you had record time today, sir. Good job.
Thank you.
Now, of course, when she said there was an observation tower here that you can see Lambeau Field from, yeah, I'm taking her up on that offer. Going up. She wasn't kidding when she said these steps were worth the view. About I think she said 96 steps up to the top. You can see the entire rail museum here at National Railroad Museum. The track, so the track started, the train started there. We went around here, took you through back there where they have the haunted house stuff, and back around there. Gave you 2 laps. But also you can see the frozen tundra from up here of Lambeau Field. One of only 2 of these left on Earth. They're too light, too fast for the tracks, too rough of a ride. People wanted transportation, not a roller coaster ride. That's going to do it for the toll road here at the National Railroad Museum in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I got a question for you. Every one of you out there. That's my hand. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows where the toll train will lead to next?